So there's this black professor called Roland Fryer who reviewed some data about police shootings, and I mean, like, he had like this 150-page analysis of data about police shootings, and he obviously there was some obvious data there about use of force against black people, blah blah blah, small scale stuff. But in terms of cops actually shooting people, he found no bias, no racial bias in actual shooting of black people. Like, cops shot white people, cops shot black people, and there was no bias once all the various factors were factored in. And he had his he found this result. He had like 8 fresh people like just re-review it, and then he was like, I'm gonna publish it. And everyone around him was like, don't publish it, because everybody knew the shitstorm that was coming. And he got that from everyone. Harvard researcher, right? Harvard professor, like, and it's just too fucking obvious what you can expect if you do challenge any sort of popular narrative that's as, loaded as this, like police shootings in America. Once he factored in all the various things, all the procedural things, all the putting money into this, putting money into that, blah, 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 he found that on average, cops don't care if you're black or white when they shoot you. They might care if you're black or white when they're using force against you, but they don't care if you're black or white if they shoot you. Which, given that the Obama got elected like 17 years ago, and given that the average person in his mid-30s grew up with fucking Blade, was 7 when Blade came out, I think that would be a given, all right? That, or at least that it would be very, very small in terms of differences, right? Because people grew up with black people everywhere, on TV, on movies, and whatever. And it's just something really ridiculous about all these super smug, rich Harvard people being like, no, don't, we cannot tell people that racism is like declining in America. We're gonna deal with a political shitstorm. It's just something really fucking nasty, really fucking disgusting for everyone who grew up, who watched politics between, at least I watched politics between 2008 and 2014, and after 2014 we went from here's all these crazy fucking things from the right wing, and then we went here's all these crazy fucking things from the left wing. It's just something really smug and self-righteous about these people who just dismiss the existence of facts that just annihilate opinions. Like, why the fuck wouldn't you release information that affects the allocations of budgets on a fucking massive scale, affecting 300 million people from one of the most historically significant universities in America? It's just disgusting, Power corrupts absolutely, There's just something really so extinguishing, I guess, about you just want to stare at nothing and just let it sink in every time you hear one of these stories where you realize this motherfucking problem will never end. It doesn't matter if it's 50 years from now. It doesn't matter if it's 60 years from now. This sort of thing will never end. Because we grew up, I'm in my 30s, we grew up with all these toxic bullshit nonsense things from the right wing, And now we're at the era of toxic bullshit nonsense from the left wing. And when the pendulum swings, the next generation of progressives are gonna be, grow up with toxic right-wing bullshit, and then it's gonna happen again, and then it's gonna happen again, and it's gonna happen again, and then it's gonna happen again. And it's never going to end. Because people are people, and people are obsessed with their status. And there are no real protections that can be seriously guaranteed for people publishing controversial opinions. And that's why we need free speech. Because the people in power just don't give a fuck. They just want to live their lives, tell themselves that they're doing something good for the world, or that they're achieving something. And whenever something serious comes up, a very small portion of the community is actually gonna be like, I gotta do this. And it's telling that it's a black guy with dreadlocks that's publishing this data and not some white guy in Harvard. Because think about it, how many white guys would have discovered this thing in the last couple of years and not published it because they're not fucking socially suicidal? It just, there's just something seriously disgusting about this.